at Makers. He says, I agree with Deke. If TJ Watt wanted 25 to 28 million, then it would be one thing. I wouldn't pay him more than that. If he wants more, we should trade for 2 first-round picks. In terms of TJ Watt's contract situation, we know the magic number tends to be that 30 per year average. We know the 100+ million in guarantees what he wants, but the 30 mil average is also a part where we've kind of seen a little bit of a sticking point.
If Bosa was on the trade market right now, what would he get in return?
Bosa?
Yeah. Or even Myles Garrett. Considering their contracts and everything. 2 first?
I'm either 2 or 3. Because I feel like if it's when Deshaun Watson was first talked about on the trade market, they were saying 4 first-round picks. And that was a young franchise top 5 in the moment quarterback. He was worth 4 first-round picks. Like we said, with Myles, TJ, and Bosa, all those guys we feel like are great, but we don't.
Khalil Mack was 2, right?
Yeah, but we don't value them over legitimate franchise quarterbacks. So if the magic number for Deshaun was 4, 2, 3 at best. 3 is like if you get a team that's absolutely desperate because of the contracts. Now with TJ, it's different because he doesn't have that big contract. So if you're trading TJ before you sign him to that deal, I want 3 picks. But if you're talking about like with Myles and Joey, they already have their deals. So you're going to have to take that with it. I would just go 2 first-round picks then.
The reason I bring that up is I don't want to trade. There's no way I'd want to trade TJ coming into this season right now for 2 first-round picks that we're not going to use this season.
Yeah.
I want TJ Watt out there in 2021.
Yes. Like by any
so you get the deal done. Now, that's why I brought up Bosa and Garrett.
Yeah.
Maybe reevaluate. Could you trade TJ on that $30 million contract in the offseason and get 2 first-round picks? I kind of get what he's saying there.
If you do that route, you definitely
because I don't want to miss out on TJ this season. But it's
like best of both worlds. Then
my concerns are more long-term with TJ and his contract. Yeah. So maybe that's the play.
It could.
I don't want to do that because I like TJ. I'm just saying, like logistically for the franchise long-term.
I think it could work, but the problem is if you don't find a suitor that's willing to take on the contract and give you 2 first-round picks, now you're kind of stuck. That's the only issue. If you do it on the front end, like how we just said right there, that's the only issue I can see. But yeah, I mean, you got some. We're gonna see, man. We know that's the sticking point, though. The 30. That's gonna be interesting to see just how that continues to play out because, as we said, the clock is continuing to tick, and is not necessarily in the sense of it's ticking, but he has all season to get a deal done. The Steelers have that self-imposed deadline of. Once the season starts, they don't negotiate anymore. They stop it. It's a hard stop. So if TJ hasn't been motivated enough to play under the current situation financially right now, if they can't get that ironed out, what does that lead to? Yeah. So as it continues,
and we talked about there's no reason for him not to play well.
Right.
So
everything makes sense for him to play well.
He just might be pissed off.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with pissed off, TJ. I ain't against that. And business-wise, it makes sense. If you're the Steelers, you don't have to pay him right now because he's already under contract. So even if he were to try the route of I'm going to play hardball and not show up, he can't do what L. Bell did. L. Bell was able to stay home because he never signed the franchise tag.
He could do it next season.
Right. TJ would have to wait until next season. Right now, if TJ stops showing up, he getting fined $30K per day. And then if they want to go conduct detrimental, we already said those can be 6-figure fines daily. You're not trying to do that. No. Even as a first rounder, his money, he's part of the new CBA. He didn't break the bank on that first. And obviously he got his money. We're not saying that, but it wasn't the 60+ million like you typically get as a first rounder before everything changed over. So the Steelers, they have all of the leverage. They control this situation right here. And when you have Melvin Ingram along with Alex Highsmith playing how they're playing in training camp. Now, granted, I still wouldn't feel confident with those 2 guys and no TJ Watt. But if you're the Steelers, if you wanted to really play hardball, you already have guys that can get it done. Now, they can't do what TJ can do to that level, but they can still get it done. You won't feel like it's the end of the world for our defense. So, yeah, if you're the Steelers, man, hey, slow play it. Hey, see who's going to blink first. But you still have that in your pocket. So,
yeah.
Yep. So shout out to that, man. That was a good one, though.
It was a good scenario to bring up. That's what got me thinking. All right, 2 first rounders. I don't want to do that this season because I want TJ Watt out there this season. If we're all in, we're trying to win a Super Bowl, we really need TJ. But after that, I don't think it's out of question to say like, hey, how valuable is TJ going to be for the Steelers long term on this contract? Like, he's still going to be good, but at $30 million.
You know what I low-key want to do now?
What's up?
I low-key want to put a poll up.
Okay.
Would you trade him after the season? Would you? Because I don't even know how I don't know how we play it though, right?
Because how much of the $30 million probably he'd be getting this year, we're gonna allocate to future seasons on like cap hits and stuff.
It's too layered. It's layered.
But I'm sure a team would trade at least a first round pick and maybe like a second or third.
Even if he has the deal,
it's a bad contract. Because I'm just thinking, Myles Garrett, Joey Bosa,
absolutely,
there'd be a ton of teams lining up to trade for them right now with their contracts.
For a fact, they would.
And if TJ does really good this season, I don't think there's any hesitancy that teams would have because of that contract. The only thing would be maybe less compensation coming back.
Okay, so let's see. How can we word this then? Because the people want to know. You know, Trina's still Diva 5. She is our resident person. When she asked me for a poll,
would you sign TJ then trade him?
I give her the poll.
Season?
That's what we'll ask then. Trina's still Diva. You asked for the poll. It is coming. Here we go. All right, so would you sign TJ? What? For $30 million per season.
And then trade him this offseason.
And then trade him next offseason, right? And then trade next off season. Question mark. Yes or no? Should I say trade him for 2 first-round picks? Should we put a number on it, or just say would you just trade him and leave it at that?
Trade him, because I think let's just go with the assumption it'd be worth our while. I guess.
All right, so here we go. The poll says, would you sign TJ Watt for $30 million per season and then trade him next offseason as your community? Well, here you go. Boom. All right. Man, I like when we do that, man. It makes me feel like I'm doing something productive. It feels like I'm like a part of it when I get to put a question up, because everybody else is in the chat.
What's your prediction?
You know,
I'm saying there's going to be more no's than yes. I'm saying it's going to be like 60, 40, 70, 30.
I'm leaning kind of with you, just because we know how people feel about TJ. And when we had these conversations before, even when we subjectively look at it from that perspective of 30 mil non-quarterback position, we can get more value this and that way. A lot of people always come back to the fact that it's TJ Watt, generational talent. You don't let those guys leave. You pay whatever it takes to get them. So I do feel like it is going to be more no, but I could make it. We can easily we just made a case for saying yes though, and it will make sense as well.
Yeah.
But I just think a lot of people are going to say no. And yeah, it's looking like, all right. So I'm going to try not to peek at this thing while it's still going. You know.
Oh yeah, it's big
honor
time,
code, right? I'm trying to be honor code with this thing.
Well, I'm seeing it. Yeah, it's big time the other way. It's actually more than I thought.
I was a little bit surprised, yeah.